surprise ever. So, friends, hey, flower friends, welcome to the live gardening show.
Welcome, gentle flower growers.
My name is Lisa Mason Ziegler, and I am glad that you're here. Today's show is called Secret Romance, since tomorrow is Valentine's Day, right? And so we are announcing the coming out of a new seed set and some new products you're going to swoon over, y'all. We're going to be doing some seed starting with soil blocking. Susie Q is going to be doing the Bouquet Studio by Viscountess Suzanne. And as always, friends, we are giving away something to one lucky in-app viewer today. And remember that we will do a live Q&A, and at the end of the show, we'll be gathering those up. So if you have a question that comes up in the comments, just put at Lisa, whatever your question is, and we'll do our best to answer some of those at the very end. Now, friends, before we get started, just remind you a little bit of housekeeping. First off, we absolutely are so grateful to y'all for sharing and inviting your friends to come over. And that happens. Where'd my phone go? That down at the bottom of your screen when you're in the app, right down here, you can actually invite your friends to come over, and we would love for you to do that. Now, remember that when you're checking out, to please put your eyeballs on your email address and your phone number. We can't make tracking tickets for your shipment unless we have those. So be sure to check it out. And if you have just happened upon us here in social media, friends, I'm glad you're here. However, we have a free phone app. This is what it looks like.
Be a part of the tongue.
And in the app, there's just so much more. First off, you can participate in the giveaway. You can submit questions. You can build favorite lists. You can watch replays later after the show. So it doesn't take but a second. You can right now jump over to your phone's app store, search Gardener's Workshop. We have two apps. You want the shop app. They're both free. Download it, take 30 seconds and pop inside, and that's where we are. And that way you can be a part of the show alongside us. One of the really special features of being inside the app is we have special shipping rates that are only available here inside the app. First, if you order seed packet only orders, it ships for free, y'all. We pay the shipping for seed packet only orders here in the app. When you're purchasing products, it doesn't matter if you buy 1 or 10 products. It's only $11.95 shipping. It's capped. We do ship to all 50 of the United States. And remember that these special shipping rates are only available inside the app. Now, often, and I know that this will happen today, we sell out of products during the actual live show. So if you go to something and it says out of stock, get notified. I would get notified because frequently the team is bringing over products from our big website and stocking it over here on the app. So check that out. And then lastly, my friends, if you're seeing people posting the sunflower emoji, those are people sending us some love. Those are our TGW family, and our family are our online course students as well as members of my Flower Farmer Club. And we just absolutely love when we see those. So thank y'all so much. And friends, we're having a giveaway, and it's a $25 store credit. So if you're inside the app right now, hit the button that says giveaway up there at the top, and that'll put you on the list that we pull from at the end of the show. So, a little special announcement. I am doing a special live show on Monday night, and it is at 8 p.m. and it is gonna be on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. So it won't be here inside our app. And the name of it is Purchasing Live Plants for Cut Flower Growing. So I will be co-hosting with Drew from Clary Joy's Flowers. And friends, you don't want to miss this. Drew is a plant grower and he ships. And this is where you'll be able to get some of those flowers that we talked about in the fall, mums and dahlias and different things. So 8 p.m. Monday night, YouTube, Facebook, or Instagram. Check it out. And I cannot wait for us to pick his brain and hear what he has. All right. So
Today we are introducing the newest debutante called Secret Romance. The ton is buzzing. Someone has planted a garden of irresistible romance. You must take a turn to see the results of these beauties.
all right, friends, we are introducing a new line of. Sorry, y'all. My phone. How does spam get through? All right. We are introducing a new line of products, and they are seed sets. And this is the one that we're introducing this week, Secret Romance. How perfect is that, right? And it includes 5 packs of seeds. It has the lime blotch, zinnia. It includes the white Cosmo double click. It has cinnamon basil. You never tell if the cards are sticking. And y'all look, this flamingo feather, which is just so beautiful. This is so gorgeous with the lime blotch. You just will not even believe it. And then I just shot the one that's probably many of you have never grown that. This is Love in a Puff. This is actually a vine. These are the seed pods, and it is an amazing cut flower. All right. Is there another one that I missed? No. Oh. And so all 5 of those packs of seeds come in this precious little set, ready to roll as soon as it warms up, and we love it.
And these are the Love and the Puff seeds. And they have hearts on them. They're just the most precious.
You know, I've talked about these so much. I'm going to hold it up there. So those are a bunch of the seeds. Can y'all tell that that little white on the seed is in the shape of a heart? It's the most fascinating thing ever. You have to grow it. You'll absolutely love it. All right. So the seed set is $19.95. And, plant a garden of irresistibility, y'all. That is this. You will absolutely just love it. Now, we have more new products.
We think these are diamonds of the first water.
It's hard for those in the ton to say this out loud, but we have new debutantes, and they are called FOOP. That is, you got it, fish plus poop, y'all. FOOP. It is a fertilizer product that's infused with microbes. It smells minty, y'all. Y'all been asking us for this. I've been using it, and we absolutely love it. It's made here in the USA. It is OMRI certified, and it is super easy to use. Now, this is the concentrate garden. This is the right one, right? Garden. Yeah. Yep. So this is what I actually put in my watering can to water my seedlings and out in the garden. It's got organic nutrients. It's good for flowers, vegetables, trees, shrubs, vegetables, whatever you have. And y'all, it's made from fish manure, fish emulsion, kelp, volcanic ash, mycorrhizal fungi, and peppermint oil, which is what makes it. I mean, I'm telling you, it does not smell anything like some of the others, right? And it's kid and pet friendly, minty smell, and they're all OMRI certified. It's $24.99, and this is 32 ounces. And so the directions are really, really interesting. So they gives you the directions for a light feeding or a heavy feeding. And I can tell you what I'm following. When I'm going to pick some trays and do this, the light feeding is 1 fluid ounce per gallon of water. And y'all, this is what's different. This is different than anything we've ever done. And you feed every time you water your plant. So that means that every morning when you water, you have 1 table or 1 ounce, which actually is an eighth of a cup, in your gallon of water, and you water with it every morning. And I'll tell you a little secret. That's what garden nurseries do. I mean, that's why the plants look so beautiful, right? And they're blooming and they just look so great. It's because every time those plants get water, it has food in it. And this has the dose to do that, right? It has other dosages too, but that's the one I am going to try with. So try the new Foop Garden Fertilizer Concentrate and you are gonna love it. Now, we also have included the Foop brand of a foliar feed. This is a ready-made mix that you just can spray it right onto your plants. And it's all the same stuff. Great soil enriching microbes. It's made from fish emulsion, manure, and kelp. And it smells minty. And it's OMRI certified, means organic certified, y'all. So this ready-made mix is a 32-ounce bottle and it's $24.99, or you can buy a concentrate bottle, which it's the same size, isn't it, Susie? I believe it is this size. So that is available. So you can mix your own ready-made at home. So this is one, I tell you, this is the best part because it's not so stinky. Foliar spraying your seedlings will be a lot more pleasant when you use this. So I think you're going to love it. We do. And then here's the third new product that I am just so glad we have finally been able to bring this on, y'all. It's inoculated biochar. And so here's what to understand what this is, why you put it in your soil. This has the same effect that probiotics have on a person's gut. This is what you put in your soil to help your soil take better care of your plants, better delivering the nutrients, just everything. It contains millions of soil enriching microorganisms. Again, made in the USA. It's sourced from the pine industry waste, and it's really safe to use. This one bag is enough for 1 cubic foot of soil. So how much is a cubic foot of soil? A cubic foot of soil is like taking a 5-gallon bucket and it's 1.5 of those. That's how much you'd put this bag into that soil and mix it up. For your containers and stuff, y'all, perennials, trees, woodies, obviously you're not putting this out in a half an acre, right? But very specific stuff, and it has tremendous results. So this bag is $29.95, and I think you'll see, I mean, you can read about it online. It's absolutely fascinating how incredible. It just makes your soil work so much better.
Just make sure you don't start a scandal by mentioning Foop at the tea party this afternoon. So we've seen all the new debutantes, and we know love is in the air with Valentine's Day tomorrow. Let's promenade through some of our favorite romantic flowers that would make beautiful bouquets for the social setting.
All right, my friends, are y'all ready to talk about some flowers? So we're right on the cusp of switching from cool season, because ours are starting to be planted. Next week, Bobo's going to start planting all the cool flowers for very early spring. And I wanted to share with you guys today. So first off, there are a couple of cool flowers that I actually succession plant beyond very early spring. And then I'm going to show you some of the warms that we will be starting. So out of the gate, let's get the cool flowers out of the way first, right? So the Sweet William Amazon series, which we've got some to plant next week, but we will be starting some of this again in about 4 to 6 weeks. Do it as an experiment for you. So this particular series or variety of Sweet William is said to withstand heat, right? So it's your best candidate and depends on how fast you heat up. For us, we could always sell Sweet William, and we always wanted it for our bouquets. So that's the rose. And then we also think the purple is just a great candidate for starting again for yet an extra succession. And the other flower that we thought about is straw flowers. I actually succession plant these again in 4 to 6 weeks. And then sometimes we even do it one more time past that. So this is the vintage white. I love this silvery rose. It's just such a great color for bouquet making. And then look at this brighter one. This is bright rose. It has less white. Both of those are just really, really hot colors. So those are two varieties, straw flowers and sweet William Amazon, that I would even be starting yet again for cool flowers. But let's jump into some warm season, y'all. Look at this. These are the Queenie mixed zinnias. If you haven't grown Queenie yet, this is where I would start to meet all the individual colors, because they are available in all the individual colors. This is the lime red. Really love this one. And then this is the, look at this. This is one of the ones that's in the new seed collection. Lime blush. I love this one, y'all. And then, you know, I'm an orange girl. This is the orange lime. It's so pretty. And can y'all tell how different this one is? This is the lemon peach. This is really a gorgeous color. I think the color of the center is what really sets that one off. All right. And, you know, depending on where you are and what you're doing, you know, you still may be able to start eucalyptus. Our goal is to have the largest seedling to go in the ground at our last frost, and it takes about 12 weeks to grow one of these. And so silver dollar is like the old standard. This is the one that everybody just recognizes. And so it is a great warm season. And y'all, this is one that we grow a ton of. This is Azuratum Blue Horizon. We plant it in all of our successions, and we're always anxious to get it on board. So it's always one of our very first ones to get in the ground. And here's another one from our seed collection, Flamingo Feather. See how it's green on the tip? I love this one, y'all. And then another favorite, I just posted a reel today showing some of this in the garden. This is Sylphid, and she is a beauty. She goes with everything, y'all. Everything. It's just a great one. That was always a bestseller. And then we have Texas plumes. And you know, this is a seed that we had grown for us. Look at the variety of colors. Super tall. They're almost all over shoulder height or above, which means stem length is not an issue. What a variety. And if I could only grow one plume, that would be the one. Y'all, if you cosmos, what a great one to grow for early summer. Fizzy white. Fizzy white has like a ruffled second petal layer in the middle. Gosh, I love this one. It is so pretty. And so double click, when one of the things that I've learned about cosmos, because we grow a ton of them now and people love them. I mean, people love cosmos. That the ones that have more than just single blooms tend to last longer. So the double click is a great variety. This one is called, this is the double click mix. So if you haven't ever grown double click, this is a great way to meet all the different colors. But just like the Queenie, we have all the individual colors. This is the pink bicolor. And this is just a great color to have for early summer. We love it. And then the white one, which is also in that new seed collection that we just introduced. I mean, you can never have enough white flowers, y'all. And look at this one. This is the double click violet. I love this one. And she has a lot of variation. I just love the surprise of this color. And then another great different variety. This is the apricota. And look how there's, can you tell? It's like a paler pink with a blush of like a salmony color. It is just so pretty, y'all. And this I find is the best butterfly variety. This one is mostly singles. You can definitely cut them. They don't last as long as the double clicks, but for the home gardener and for the butterflies in your garden and hummingbirds, this is a spectacular. It's sensation mix, and I love it. It gets super tall. And then this is probably the largest Cosmo that we grow. This is afternoon white. It's got the biggest bloom, y'all. And look at that showy center disc. Really pretty. And oh, here's Rose Bonbon. Another double click. And the double clicks, once you learn when to cut them, which that's one in the background there that's just cracking open. That's how we cut them. And it opens to this quickly indoors. And I don't know if you know it or not. This is the Cupcake Blush. Cosmos, we grow them all season long, like 3 or 4 plantings. But it's the last planting for late summer and fall that really put on the biggest show because Cosmos perform best in short days. They bloom most and they last longer at that time of the year. So let's shift gears from all that beautifulness and let's talk about Gumphrena, y'all. Gumphrena, these little balls have so much impact on a bouquet and in a garden. This is Audra Pink, and just you can dry them, but we mostly use them fresh. They are just always so popular. And then this is the mix. It's called the Audra Pastels mix. The Audra series is the best habit to cut from, in my opinion. It's just got a lot of stronger, straighter stems than some of the others. But the colors are, look at, there's white, there's the bicolor, pinks in here. Just absolutely love it. And then you can buy those colors separately. The white, look at the green in the center of these blooms. I mean, these are just the cleanest white blooms. And they dry so cool. That's it, dry right there. I made a Gumphrena wreath. I mean, if that tan color isn't in style now, I mean, I don't know what is. And then to the crop that has been in our top 5 for 20 years. And that is coxcomb, y'all. Look at this color. This is, which one is this? They call it rose.
It's creamy rose, right?
Yeah, it's creamy or chief. Look at that. It's like cotton candy color. This is the best bouquet ingredient, y'all. It's just such a bright color. We never have enough of that color either. And then this is the Kramer's mix. Now let me tell you about Kramer's. Kramer's is burgundy, green, and rose. This particular variety was hybridized for its drying qualities. And that means it holds its color the best of all of them. So this is a really great one. And this is, oh my goodness, this is Super Crest. Y'all, this is, when they say super, it is super big. I mean, it'll grow over my head, really big blooms. It's the fan type of coxcomb. That means that the sides of the bloom show, which you can't really see here. And so people that like funky and big, like Super Crest. It's got some great colors in it too. And then Amaranth. So look at how pretty that color is. This one is Love Lies Bleeding. You know, that's the draping bloom. And then I love Velvet Curtains, really tall, really big plumes. They dry great too. And Oshberg. This is really cool because look how the stem shows through the blooms. That's really a lot of fun. And then, of course, my friends, good old zinnias. What else do you need to round it out? There's the Benary's Giant White. I mean, you need to have your seeds staged and ready, right? Because it will be here before long. This is the Benary's Lilac, which is like the softer of the 2 purples. And then the bright pink, which I call the official little baby girl shower flower. You know? It's just such a great color. This is how I love to cut them. See how there's no florets in the middle? And look at all those petals, y'all. This is Benary's Trade Mark. I mean, they just are the best. And here's the giant purple, which is much darker and deeper color. And
So those were all Valentine colors.
so those were our Valentine's colors. And then, of course, she had to include one of my favorites. This is Celosia Sunday is the variety, and this is orange. And look at them, y'all. It is just the best color ever. This with pink is rocking in the summertime. Really, really love that. All right. Oh, and then we have giant orange, Benary's giants. And so let's look at this. See how those florets are in there? I consider that over the hill. This is how I want to cut them. You know, they don't develop anymore after you cut them, right? So I like them before they have that yellow ring. And then we have Pro Cut Orange sunflowers. You know, this is what helped build our business, were sunflowers in the flower tray. This is all the same sunflower, y'all. You know what the difference in this little one and this big one is? How you space it. Did you know that? Single stems. And then look at that orange coxcomb. Goes great with pink too, y'all. All right.
Dearest gentle flower growers, please remember to sign up for our giveaway. $25 in-app credit, and you do need to be present to win. So stick around and put this in your wait list, and we will choose from that wait list at the end of the show.
All right, friends. Remember, if you have a question that comes up, put it in the comments and just put at Lisa and put whatever your question is, and then we'll answer some of those at the end of the show. And so let's talk about how you're going to start these seeds, right? So this is the swoon section of the show. We're going to be looking at some of my seedlings. Y'all, are they just not the best? I could just do this all the day long. And so I want to show you how I make these blocks and and we'll just talk a little bit about seed starting. But this is what it's all about. We are in high cotton for high seed starting high. And I guess I'll show that one in a minute. So let me show you how I make those blocks. And then I'm going to sow some zinnias so you'll know exactly how to do it, because people are quite surprised that I sow zinnias in these little blocks. All right, so this is the blocking mix, and it's already had the water added to it. And so this is the small blocker, right? It makes 20 of the 3/4 inch blocks. And I am just pushing it down into the soil, and I do it twice to make sure my chambers are nice and full. Potato masher, y'all, works great to strike off the bottom. And then we use trays that have no drainage holes, and that just makes it so you can do this anywhere inside your home. It just makes it to a perfect tabletop. And I just squeeze the plunger, and y'all, just that quick, we just made 20 little 3/4 inch containers to grow our seeds up in, right? So I am going to sow my zinnia seeds. And sister, you have to help me here. I still need to make large ones, so we can't take this away. All right, y'all, I'm just trying to get this. There we go. All right, so our zinnia seeds come to us with this clay covering on it, coating, and that's for the seed people that they come from. It helps them to actually count them better. So a zinnia seed, if I can get it in my hand right so you can see it, is pretty long and pointy for anybody that's never seen one before. And literally, I'm poking a pointy end in, and I'm just pushing the seed down. And that's how you plant zinnia seeds into the 3/4 inch block. The tail will still be sticking up. You don't need to put any additional soil on top. This is the same way that I plant cosmos, marigolds, all those big seeds, and of course little seeds go in here too. But that's how it says zinnias need to be covered with soil. Pushing the seed down into the block, that is adequate covering of the seed. This is literally how we plant our zinnia seeds. That is the whole picture of that, right? All right. So now I want to make for you, the blocker, a new one. Here we go. So this is what it looks like new, y'all. You don't have to have one of my old ones. We import these from England. It is the Ladbrokes brand. Um, and it's $39.95. And I start almost everything in this block. The only time I don't use this block is when the seed is too big, like a sweet pea seed. So I'll show you the large block because sweet peas, they have a big seed. They would bust this booger all to pieces, right? So the small blocker is the one that I use almost exclusively. So let's look at the large block. So this is what it looks like. And you'll notice that the technique is just a little bit different on how to do this. And so you still hold the stationary bar, you push it down, and then I am just moving it back and forth and gobbling up soil. The large blocker takes more soil, and in fact, it takes about 12 times the volume of soil. So you strike it off and just clean it up a little bit. And again, it's just a larger tray, no drainage holes. And literally, we just made 4 2-inch containers, y'all, just that fast. And if you see, it has this dimple, it has this little nipple that comes with it, and it makes that hole where you would drop your seed. And that's exactly what I did with this sweet pea. Yes, maybe that's good. Thank you. So these sweet pea roots, look at that. How cool is that, y'all? That's about 3 weeks old. So that's when I use the large blocker, like sweet peas, sunflowers, zucchini, squash, anything with a bigger seed is when I use the 2-inch block. Now, this is what it looks like, bright and shiny and new. And it comes with this individual, with this little nipple on it to make that indention, right? This is $46.95, and this will set you up to be able to start larger seeds. I also use this size for cuttings, like salvia and stuff that we do. And so it works great for that. Now you can pop these nipples out and you can purchase separately these little blocks or inserts, we call them. And it goes right in here. And that'll make a perfect size hole in the top of the 2-inch block to receive a small block. And I don't do that very often, but when I need to do it, I need to do it. And what do I do it on? I do it on eucalyptus. I do it on tomatoes and peppers. Those plants that I just want to grow larger before I plant them out in my garden. So these inserts are $9.95. And when you have all 3 of these pieces, which is, by the way, deal of the day, that is our soil blocker set. That means you get the small blocker, the 2-inch blocker, and 4 of the inserts. And normally it's $87.17, and they are 20% off until Sunday morning at 8 a.m. Eastern Time.
Even a Viscountess loves the deal.
And so they are $69.74 for both and the insert, y'all. That is really a great deal. So deal of the day available until stock runs out or Sunday at 8 a.m. Eastern Time. And that means you'll be set up for starting any size seed. All right, so let's see where we are. Now, you saw me use a couple of different size trays. I use so many different size trays, y'all. When you only put one variety of plant on a tray together. No, you don't mix them up. And so you don't want to have wasted space. So if I only need 20, I'm going to use this small tray because your heat mat and grow lights real estate is of a premium, right? So this is the small mini, a 5-pack of these reusable foam trays are $1.95. The small, which will hold 2 sets of 40 or 2 sets of 4 are $2.95. And then you have the large foam tray. And again, they're reusable. 3 sets of 20. We literally use these for years, y'all. It's $3.95.
And they're asking why they're dirty.
Oh, they're at because we reuse them over and over again. And we don't sterilize anything here. We do tend to wash stuff. We wash buckets. We do wash trays. But the reason this tray was dirty before I used it is because I had just taken some other seedlings off and I just grabbed it before. We made blocks today. But unless you have a disease issue, there's really not a problem with doing that, right? So there you go. That is because these trays are reusable over and over again. All right, so you can make your own blocking mix at home. So blocking mix is different than it's actually the opposite of what seed starting mixes and even potting mixes are. Seed starting and potting mix are made to go in containers. So that means they're made to be light and fluffy because you want air and water to be able to move through the container. Well, it's the complete opposite for soil block soil. You want it to be dense and to hold tight together. So there is we have 20-quart bags of the ready-made mix, if that's you, available on our big website. But it's really easy to make your own at home. This is the DIY blocking mix nutrient. You add your peat moss or cocoa fiber and compost. The recipe's right here on the front with this powder nutrient, and you've got your own blocking mix at home. We recommend sifting everything, and so this will make 12 recipes. And so a recipe is about 20 cups of mix, and one 20-cup recipe will make about 500 to 600 of those little blocks, y'all. It goes a really long way. So the nutrient has the recipe on it. It's $19.95. You add your peat moss or cocoa fiber and compost, and you are ready to go. Now, I mentioned that we recommend sifting all seed starting ingredients, whether you're making your own or buying ready-made mix. You just want it to be the finest. This fits perfectly on top of a 5-gallon bucket. It makes the job so easy. And the chunks and stuff, that's where the microorganisms live, y'all. You don't be surprised, and you don't want to throw those away. Put them in your garden, put them in your containers. You just don't want them in your seed starting mix. So the sieve is $24.95, and it fits perfectly on a 5-gallon bucket. And this is the time of year that we try to do all of our sifting outdoors in the afternoon. It's a little dusty, and get yourself set up for the entire season.
The perfect outfit for a promenade. It's the tool belt, the pith helmet, and gloves, of course.
All right, my friends, look, we have a new tool belt. So this is a new style. It is $32.95. It is still canvas, which makes it lightweight and easy to clean. It has pouches for your phone, your water bottle, your tools, whatever you need. It's $32.95, and the way that we wear them is I put it on and then I slide the pouch around to my backside so that when I'm bending and all that kind of stuff, nothing interferes with me bending over. Really, this is the way you keep up with your stuff, y'all, to not lay it down out in the garden. And this is the hat that I have, not the hat. This is just like the hat that I've worn for 25 years. This is the pith helmet. And this is the hat that mailmen and safari people wear, y'all. There's a reason. It's because it keeps you the coolest. Plus, you can be outside in the rain and it doesn't warp. There's an adjustable headband inside. I have a big head, y'all, and not most hats fit properly. That's why I love this. You can make it to fit you. And what the point of this is it holds the hat just a little bit off of your head so air circulates, and you just can't imagine what a difference that makes. Totally love this hat. It is $64.95. And I literally still have the one I started with 25 years ago. They don't let me wear it very often because it has sweat marks on it, but that's the proof in the pudding, right? So you will love this hat. And let's start a new rage. Now, the gloves that we live in here on this flower farm are the deal of the day, by the way. And these are the Atlas lightweight gloves. And you feel like you have nothing on. We even sow seeds in these gloves, y'all. And so they come from extra small to large. They run big. This is a medium. This is how you want it to fit. No excessive fabric. You want it to fit almost like a pair of pantyhose, right? And so they're normally $8.95, which is a bloomin' deal in itself, but they're 20% off till Sunday morning. $7.16 for an individual pair, or you can buy a 4-pack of the assorted colors in your size for they're normally $31.95, on sale for $25.56. I'm telling you, I can wear a pair for a whole season working commercially 5 days a week. It's unbelievable how wonderful these gloves are. We just really love them. All right, there is also what we call the heavyweight version of these guys, and that is they're black. They're a little bit more heavy duty. They've got this. By the same size guide, and these come from small up to extra large. We have brick masons that wear them. My husband works on his Harley with them. Quilters wear them. Mary Maids, FedEx. I mean, these gloves, they just give you power. You know what I love to wear gloves for? Pushing my hoops down in the garden because I can grip it. I can push so much further than my bare hands. So these are the same price, $8.95, but they're on deal of the day for $7.16 or a 4-pack for $25.56.
Oh, you know what Suzanne did that last week for me?
What?
I had a jar that I couldn't open.
Oh, yep. We did. We literally used a pair of these last week to open a jar we couldn't get open. If you have a pair of these in your kitchen, it makes opening jars. You know, y'all, I'm getting old. Your hands just aren't as strong, but they don't have to be when you have a pair of these gloves in your kitchen. You want to do those?
Highest fashion for tea are the gloves, of course. And these are also a deal of the day, the gauntlet gloves. They have a very thick palm, all man-made, can be washed and hung to dry. They're on special for $31.96. I have a generous size hand for a woman, and I take a medium. They're unisex sized, and they come from size large, small to extra large. So even your big gentleman could be accommodated.
So this is one of those tools that we learned about. I guess it's been 10 years, hadn't it, sister? We learned about it. I was speaking at a Master Gardener conference, and they couldn't believe that we didn't know about these. So we got them. And this is literally the one I use out in my garden. This is called a hori hori. And y'all, this is like, you don't know what to do with it yet until you get one. Then you don't know how you live without it. I love it for planting, stabbing, pulling, dropping in a soil block or bulb, then moving a couple inches, stabbing, pulling, and covering the last one.
Perfect for harvesting rocks.
And I mean, you can use it for rooting around in the soil, prying stuff, things you shouldn't be sticking your shears in the soil to do. The hori hori comes in a little sheath that you do have to have a belt, and it is super heavy duty. When Susie and I used to do shows, we would always put a display of these out at the edge of our booth because, you know, the men that have been dragged to like Christmas shows and shopping shows, they would just gravitate straight to these. They all had to pick them up and handle them. And that's how we ended up selling them all, right? But this is the greatest tool ever. And if you have a guy in your midst and he does anything, even inside or out, they will love the hori hori. It's $46.95. And this is
Don't be a rake, get a trach.
This is one of Suzanne's favorite tools. This is another, I mean, you can't call it an heirloom, but we've sold this for 25 years or 20 years at least. A lot of grandmas buy them for their daughters and granddaughters. It's made out of aluminum. I love that it has marks on it and that you could again plant, but I love it because how long it makes my arm. If I'm down on the ground, I don't want to have to get up and move unless I have to. We use the rake in for mulching, you know, just grading in general. It's $34.95. It is lightweight and lasts forever. You will love this, and it's just a favorite of gardeners everywhere. So now it's time for the Bouquet Studio with the Viscountess Suzanne.
Tea.
Why, thank you.
Have your gardener cut flowers from your garden or get flowers from the flower girl on the street. Preparing flowers for afternoon tea, known the etiquette for tea. Okay, let's get started. We are going to make a little teacup.
That's
Okay.
whose that is.
This is actually our mother's china. Isn't it beautiful? What is it called, sister? It's called
Rosalie.
Beautiful. And I must prepare, you know, You can't be arranging flowers in my tea gloves, so there you go, sister. All right. Now I even wear these gloves. They're the best. Would not handle flowers, especially retail flowers, without them. First, can we show them the quick tip first, Susie? First, you may recognize these flowers. I saved them from last week, but this morning the feverfew was looking dreadful. So I put a little quick dip in it, a little splash in the water that was already in here, and they've already bounced back. The quick dip is amazing. You can use it either in a small container and just dip the ends of your flowers in it and then put them in flower food, or we've learned just to put a splash in your water and the flowers love it. The quick dip is ready to use. It helps the water flow from the stem up to the bloom. It's 16 ounces at $17.95, and if you're doing flowers, you have to have
We
this
use a
around.
ton of that
We
here.
do use a ton of it. So these are the flowers that I'm going to use in my little teacup arrangement. Move this so you can see. And
You're not using the other one?
the other one, what?
The other teacup.
No, I'm just doing one right now.
Okay.
So we have Oasis tape. Now, the Oasis tape is clear. Let me show you a sample here. And you make a little grid atop of your container, and even in a clear container, you can't see it. So I'm just going to put this over our little teacup.
Roxanne has that same China.
Does she really? So my china, Roxanne, so I got Mama's china, and so I selected Desert Rose Boscroft as my
That's behind you.
yeah, as my china because I use them together frequently. When we have family over, I mean that's usually about 30 people, so I'm able to intermingle them together. They both have pink flowers. Love it so
I'll
much.
just take my gloves off a second, as this is a little easier to deal with, not gloved. All right, so we're going to make a little cross section, and we're just going to take it over the edge. And you can probably find some china, or a few pieces at least, at a thrift store. If you don't have a set of china for your own, a lot of people like to pick up different little sets and have a tea party with them mixed. Of course, I would never be caught dead with a mixed set, but anyway, some people do.
The thrift stores are full of china.
Scissors, Lisa. These clippers are not cutting this very well. I don't want to break the china. Thank you. My handy assistant, Lisa. All right, so we're making a little grid on top. And the key to this is just to cut your flowers a little bit shorter. You don't want them real tall. This is perfect to go on your table for your tea party. Started having tea parties with my grandson. A neighbor's sister wrote a little book about a tea party for George, which is about having boys over for tea parties. I've lost my end. Where did it go? All right, so this is what we're using because I can't find the end of my tape, as usual. That happens when I wrap gifts too. So you just want to take your flowers and just cut the stem shorter. We'll start with a little greenery. We have this beautiful eucalyptus.
I'm kind of a fan of those carnations.
Yeah, they're growing on me. I'm usually not a carnation fan, but they are growing on me. So you just want to make sure that all of your greenery is out of your water. Cut it short and just lay it in. Of course, I always cut it too long. Lay it in sideways and build on that. So you put it through your little fellow sideways. And then we'll put in a few little carnations. And I often cut them too long. Just keep cutting them. If it doesn't work, just keep cutting them. You kind of have to layer things around so that they stay where you want them. And here's our feverfew that I revived this morning, which is just precious in a little teacup. Beautiful daisy-like. And the tape just helps everything stay where you want it, even if you only have a couple of pieces of it in there. And then we have this beautiful blue. These are little daisy-like flowers. We don't sell this seed or grow this. So I'm not even sure what it is called. It's just a cute little blue purple flower. And once you start building it on the side like this, then you start building the top. You can layer things a little bit more and stick them straight through, and they tend to stay better once you get a little foundation made. And we have some really beautiful. What are these, sister? I know you said we used to grow them.
What did we say that was? Sea holly?
Yeah, I think it's sea holly. Beautiful spikies. And they are a little spiky. One just got my hand as I was taking it down. It is a little spiky. But you want to keep them not too tall so that you can see your guest on the other side of the table. And let's do a little more.
So it is a sea holly, sister, and it's a perennial, which is why we
Perennial
don't
sea
grow that
holly.
particular one.
Okay. Here's some more eucalyptus. Which eucalyptus is this?
Parvula gum.
This is parvula gum. Love to
Which
see.
I love it because if it was the others that are so big leafed, you couldn't use it right now.
So you can see how you just continue around and do the other side the same way you did this, but a precious little set for your tea party. And Oasis tape is a 1/4 inch wide. The roll is 60 yards. And it's
It's a lot.
$8.95, and that's a lot. It will last you a really long time. So be sure to make a little arrangement for your tea party. All right, you're up, sister.
Oh, I just closed it. All right, friends. I think we need to move those somewhere. So, I mean, honestly, friends, we have so much cool stuff to make arrangements in, right? Make little bouquets, gravy boats, china, pitchers, all kinds of good stuff. You don't need to go out and buy vases, although I see some pretty cool vases in these home stores now, right? I mean, it's easy to fill up a cabinet. All right, my friends, when you're growing flowers in your own backyard, you can make the use of all that stuff. So stick around to the very end for the Q&A. And remember that those special shipping rates that I told you about and the deals of the day are only available here inside the app. You will not find them over on our big website. And speaking of our website, be sure to check out all of our free resources that are over there. I mean, we have videos and blogs, and you can connect with our podcasts. We have 2, Field and Garden and Seed Talk with Lisa and Lane. And my friends, I just want to remind everybody that my book, The Cut Flower Handbook, will answer every question you have about growing cut flowers, y'all. Honestly, from how big it should be to where to put it, setting it up, how to manage it and take care of it. Very simple and easy, and it will really guide you to becoming a 3-season cutting garden grower. I mean, just 3 seeds. You'll learn how to succession plant, and then you can apply it to other things that you want to grow. This book has 41 cool flowers in it, 25 warm. Plus, when you purchase the book from us, we include a bonus. And the bonus is the PDF download of the 6 flowers that we could not fit in the book, y'all. And that is 5 more cools and 1 more warm. The book is $30. We would love to sign and wrap one for you. Y'all, the photography is phenomenal. Suzanne did about 1/3 of the photography in this book. And it's just beautiful. So the Cut Flower Handbook will become your go-to resource. Now, let's just say you're just getting started and you're thinking, I'm not so sure I'm a big cut flower grower. Then this is the book for you. This is Vegetables Love Flowers. And this is not about growing vegetables, y'all. It's about growing a little cutting garden in a vegetable patch and why vegetables love that so much. And it's because of the company that flowers keep and draw in. Vegetables Love Flowers talks about how it attracts pollinators and beneficial insects. And it's just a powerful pest control step that you can take. And so this book also comes with a video book study, which is really fun. I interview the photographer, and I think Suzanne and I have a sit down talking here. And so you get that when you purchase the book from us. It's $25.95. And this book really goes deep on my gardening philosophy about how to not have to use pesticides and stuff. It has succession planting illustrations in the back. So Vegetables Love Flowers is a great way to get your feet wet. And maybe too, why a vegetable farmer, gardener would really want to include flowers in their vegetable patch. So that's a really good one. And then, there's my book that started it all, y'all. That is the book Cool Flowers. This is the first baby step to introduction into cool season hardy annuals and how to figure out when you're supposed to plant them for your garden. This book includes a 30 flower profiles. It also comes with a video book study. It's $22.95, and this is the jumping off point of really turning your garden into a 3-season flower garden. Would love for you to have that. And we do still have available the big calendar journal, y'all. This is big, 20 by 30. That point is so that each month you have big squares to write in. This guides you to find your 9 different planting windows that apply to you. And then once you have your planting windows, then you can figure out your seed starting schedule. And because this has a PDF download also, this is my seed starting worksheet. When you follow the steps that come with this calendar of guiding you through the 9, where is it? I can never get the second. You know what I need? I need to put those little tabs on here. I struggle with this every single time. There you go. The second page has all my instructions that will guide you. And even better than that, y'all, it comes with my video workshop walking you through the 9 planting windows and my recommendation of which 4 succession plantings you should go with first while you're just learning. Thank you. So you get all of this and the video worksheet for $39.95. It's an in-a-year calendar, and it's for all areas, y'all. You plug in your frost dates and winter low temperature to figure out your custom growing plan for your garden. So the big calendar journal is $39.95. And when you follow my suggestions, which are on the last page of how to write on this calendar will become the most powerful garden and farm journal you have ever created. I have 15 years worth, and it's like a walk in knowledge land, looking back and remembering and knowing what to do when. So the big calendar journal is still available.
Make haste and get the deal of the day, good through Sunday at 8 a.m. Eastern Time. We hope you enjoyed the coming out of our Secret Romance seed set. And then Lisa's going to give you some more great information. Thank you, sister.
And I wanted to remind y'all or invite you if you weren't here earlier, I'm doing a really special show on Monday night. I'm going to have a special guest, Drew from Clary Joyce Flowers, and you will be able to purchase live plants for cut flower growing and to be able to buy small portions. That's the niche, right? And so we're going to pick Drew's brain about all of that. And, I grew them last year, dahlias and mums. And it was just such a nice experience to have not 128 plants you had to plant, but a low number. And it just made for an amazing experience. So 8 p.m. on Monday night, you'll find me on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. Drew will be joining me, and friends, it is going to be a lot of fun. He's a hoot, so you don't want to miss out on that. And remember that on Wednesdays, I do Ask a Flower Farmer. I'm the host this week, 3 p.m. Eastern Time, and that's on Instagram and on TikTok. And remember that next Friday to join us back here again, same time, same place, because we have a giveaway every week. And then I also do shows on Wednesday nights at 8 p.m., as well as I do pop-up shows. And that means you better turn your notifications on inside your app so that you'll get notified if I get a wild hair and decide to do a show, which happens frequently. So please don't forget to join us back again. And friends, we do have a winner of our $25 giveaway. Is that Danae?
I would say Dina Doom or
Dina Dune. I'm so sorry if I messed your name up. Dina Dune. Duhn. Dina, you are the winner of a $25 store credit. You need to give us a shout out in the comments to claim your prize. And as soon as you do that, the girls will drop a $25 store credit right into your cart. It'll be ready and waiting for you there. So thank you for participating. And so, friends, stick around for the live Q&A. But if you're heading out, thanks for joining us here at the Ton. All right, friends, let's see what questions we have. Snaps. At what temperature do we keep seedlings to continue growing? 40 to 50? Oh, she's here. Congratulations. So the girls will be dropping a $25 store credit right into your cart. And congrats on that. Thank you for doing it and participating. So at what temperature do we keep seedlings to continue growing? It's 65 to 75 degrees. Nothing's going to grow at 40 to 50 degrees. Now, if you were trying to stall your plants, meaning you started them too early or something like that, and you wanted to hold them, that's when you drop cool. But for growth, vegetative growth on top, 70 to 75 is what my room is cooking at right this minute as we speak. Which cool season flowers do you recommend to replant for fall harvest? That really depends on where you are. That is one of the succession planting windows that's on the calendar. It's also in the Cut Flower Handbook of how you look at a specific flower and your frost date and how you count to figure out when you would plant that. But that really varies on your conditions and where you are. How do I get my Clarkia to sprout? It's really picky and leggy when it does. Well, so the Clarkia definitely is predisposed to doing like sunflower seedlings that aren't getting enough light. I mean, they just get kind of tangly. I have not found the solution to that. However, I suspect it's not low light because it's right next to stuff that's nice and stocky, right? But I do suspect that it's air temperature. I think that Clarkia does like cooler temperatures. Cooler temperatures, as I was just saying, does not encourage vegetative growth. And so that's what I'm going to try to do next year because ours are kind of a tangled mess. So I understand. And you want to hear, so last year, I actually ordered plugs of Clarkia because I thought, what am I doing wrong? Right? And guess what? They arrived in the box as they do. And guess what? They were all a tangled mess. It was like the most affirming thing I had seen in a year. That's like, I'm not the only one. So I hope you feel better. But we have to figure it out. But the fact that it came from a professional greenhouse that way says to me that's just the way they are. What would cause seedlings to lose their first leaves with only stem remaining in soil blocks? We are covering them during germination with plastic for moisture. I'm not certain, but covering them with domes can predispose them to develop fungus and diseases because it traps so much moisture, and we don't do that for that reason. So I can't really comment on that, but I would say get them on. I mean, if they are sprouted and have leaves, they should be well off of the heat mat, right? And the dome should not be on. Once you see 50% of the seeds sprouting that are on a tray, once you see signs of life, like you might just see it cracking, that's considered sprouting. Once you see about 50% of your tray doing that kind of behavior, you move it off of the grow light. You would remove any coverings, domes or whatever, and move it to a grow light with no heat mat, no covering whatsoever. But yeah, if they're getting more water than they really probably need, then that could be it. Zone 8. A. I fall planted bells of Ireland, me too. According to the cool flower principle, they got a great start and seemed well established going into winter. I tucked them in with leaf mulch when temperatures started going down. We had an unusually harsh winter, and now all I see is sticks. Do you think they'll sprout new growth? How long do I wait? So that's the problem with mulch. That's what pushed me to becoming such a big user of the biodegradable film 12 or 13 years ago. Is just a lot of stuff can happen to small transplants with a lot of mulch. I mean, whether there is slug action in there, and there's lots of other insects that can live in that leaf litter, and they're just too small and vulnerable. Only time will tell. And so I would wait through the early spring when you see your other plants starting to have some new shoots emerging. You know, you can tell they're getting active. They're starting to grow. That's when I'd look at my bells and decide. But yeah, so actually for Bells of Ireland, we don't use biodegradable film because we direct seed. I'm assuming that you did too. So there is no film. We cultivate with our hoe a couple of times before they go into winter, and they have no mulch. And then we row covered, of course. But yeah, so I'm sorry about that, but definitely that's why I do not like using mulch with small transplants. In your area, when do you usually start warm season annuals? Well, it's about your frost date, not your area. And so it depends on what you're doing. There's 3 different windows to start planting. First off, my last expected frost is mid-April. And because I take extreme steps, meaning my beds for those first planting is made weeks in advance and it has black biodegradable film on it. So it's sitting out there cooking a little bit, not much, but it is helping. And then my seedlings are going to be planted into black film and they're going to be hooped and row covered immediately. I plant right at my last frost date because I take extraordinary steps because we can still be cool at night. The wind is cold. Okay. So your last expected frost when you take those steps is possible. If you're not going to take those steps and you're planting transplants again, I would wait 2 to 4 weeks. If you just want to walk out to your garden and plant plants and not have to do all that stuff, 2 to 4 weeks after your last spring frost. That means the soil is beginning to warm up and there's probably not going to be any cold wind, which definitely happens right around your last frost date, right? Now, if you're planting seeds of warm season out in the garden, I would definitely wait 4 weeks after my last frost. So that would mean I wouldn't even think about direct sowing out in the garden until mid-May. Do zinnias need the support netting? We net them. If we don't net them, we don't have as many flowers to cut. Our zinnias get this tall. I posted a reel, I think yesterday. You can see that they're netted. And always there's beds that don't get netted because we just get behind, and we're always sorry. We end up having to spend more time cutting the laying down stems out of the way, the crooked ones, the bent ones, to get to the good ones. So we waste time, money, labor, everything when we don't net. So yes is the answer. So I put my sunflower seeds on the heat mat, then under the grow light once I have seedlings. It's the same for all seeds. Mostly. There's a couple of cool season that might not do this, but for all warm season seeds, you start your seeds however you're starting them, and then they go onto a seedling heat mat. And you put them directly on the mat. And then once you see 50% of life, signs of life, you move them off of the heat mat to your grow light. It's the very same thing for sunflowers. Do you ever just direct sow zinnias? No. It is so much more work. I don't know where I was. I guess maybe I was in my club yesterday. Somebody was asking me this. And I said, if you direct sow your zinnias, you have to wait 4 weeks later to actually plant them out in the garden. Plus, When I walk out to the garden 4 weeks earlier, I have a plant that's already 3 weeks old. So I'm going to get zinnias 7 weeks earlier than somebody direct sowing. It is so much more work. You have to hoe and cultivate the entire time to keep the weed pressure back. Then you have to thin. It is just so much less work, and you use so few seeds compared to what you have to do in your direct sow. I'm bumping up eucalyptus today. Does it need to go back on the heat mat? No, nothing is on the heat mat unless it is in the sprouting stage, right? Once they are 50% have sprouted, they go off the heat mat. The heat mat is only for a short-term use. Do you already have Shabbat blooming? No, my Shabbat seedlings look great, but I need guidance on planting in the field. So Shabbat is an heirloom carnation. It's a cool season hardy annual in the dianthus family, and that's a very early spring planting date. So that's what that's when you plant them out in the field. Ours were planted last fall, but if you're planting them for very early spring, and that again, you know, I'm sorry if I sound like a broken record, but I'm not. That is where the big calendar is going to clear up all that for you. I mean, it's just the most biggest confidence builder. It's going to walk you through every single one of the planting windows to figure out when your window is. So you know exactly when to plant stuff to make you just feel better about knowing, right? But we would be planting carnations next week, which is 6 to 8 weeks before my last frost date. And that would be transplants. What was your farm name before you started the gardener's workshop? Ziegler Garden. And that's why I had to change it because, I built an online garden shop, and there's a whole story there. Are you recommending the biochar to be used in soil blocking mix or in a potting soil mix? Hadn't thought about it. I don't think it's needed in the soil blocking mix. But sure, in containers, in people that are doing small cutting gardens like most home gardeners are, the biochar is really, particularly if you are really working on building your soil. But I also think it is a huge, I mean, I don't know if there are TED Talks about this stuff and how spectacular it is. If I was planting a tree or a shrub, long haul crops that, you just want to give it the best it can have, that's where I would be using it. About 30% of my Snapdragon seedlings have the seed stuck on them. That's called helmet head, growing under lights. Any idea? Yeah. So you can, first off, if you just leave them alone, chances are really good that little leaves are going to sprout from the base of the stem. So don't mess with them. But I can't handle it. I just take my little Joyce Chin scissors and snip that booger off the top, and then they'll usually go on to produce. They might be a little slower, but yeah, they'll go on to produce leaves. They'll be fine. Temperatures in the 50s, expecting rain tomorrow. Should I recover with my row cover? No, I mean, not for 50s. So I had my covers down for 2 days. It was just, I mean, I'm a big believer that plants want to be out in the open, in the air, in the sunshine, right? And to let the predator bugs get in to eat any bad bugs. So we went up to 45 degrees. So my covers came down. They've been up for 3 weeks, and covers came down for 2 days, but we went down to 28 last night. And I decided that I didn't want my foliage to be damaged, that I have preserved and is so beautiful. So I put my covers back up. I would not put my covers back up until it was going below 30 degrees. And if I was getting 50s and rain, my covers would be down for sure. I overseeded my trays and need to pick out the small ones. However, I feel guilty. Any suggestions? Yeah, don't do it that way. I mean, that's why we love soil blocking. One seed each block. You never have to go through any of that. And I have absolutely, I'm sorry to say, no experience. So you don't need to feel guilty. I mean, we compost a third of the seedlings that we start because we only plant the biggest and the best. And once you see the results of doing that, you just have no remorse. People used to cry here when we would thin direct seeded seedlings because you have to overseed and then you have to thin them. Literally crying people. But after about 6 feet, when they had 600 feet to do, they get over it. So that's what I would suggest to you. Be tough, do it. But it's a lot less work to just sow in soil blocks and put one seed in a block, and you never have to thin ever. So, my friends, we are going to wrap it up. I hope you loved our secret romance. I just love these little seed sets, y'all. These were Jesse's brainchild, and Suzanne is bringing them to life. If y'all can tell, she's quite an actress at heart. This is bringing the best out. And I mean, this bouquet is just absolutely beautiful. So, my friends, get them while supplies last, and hope to see you Monday night live with Drew, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. And until we meet again, my friends, ciao.